Hello and welcome back to Stu Does Linux. I'm Stu Karoff, technology teacher, social studies teacher, occasional elementary teacher. Hey, when you're a teacher, you wear a lot of hats. Time to click like, subscribe, and that notification bell thing. Also, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and now also on Threads. Just in case you've been paying attention, each of the episode videos I put on this channel has a different framed album cover behind me over here. This video has Vinyl Confessions by Kansas. Tune in next time to see what the next framed album will be. Unsolicited testimonial time. I want to give a special shout out to my friends at Free Geek Twin Cities. Free Geek is a 501c3 organization with a mission to sustainably reuse technology, enable digital access, and provide education to create a community that empowers people to realize their potential. And they are big on using Linux. They are one of my favorite go-to places for affordable used computer hardware and components. I was just there last week picking up a keyboard and Ethernet cables. Let's see here. Ethernet cables. And I got this really great old school keyboard. Love this place. For more information, go to freegeektwincities.org. That's www.freegeektwincities.org. So far on this channel, I have made a case for using Linux in the general ed classroom. Hint, hint. It can also be used for the specialist classroom, the ELL classroom, and the special ed classroom. Then, I talked about some of the different learning activities that can be done with Linux and the Linux apps you would have your students use. So now, classroom teachers, you might be thinking, I'm ready to take the plunge and put a Linux computer, or a few, in my classroom. And then you think, where do I get those computers? Today's topic, getting Linux computers for your classroom. What type of computers run Linux? Almost any computer that can run Windows can run Linux. Also, most Apple Mac computers, particularly the ones with Intel processors, can run Linux. Linux has been put on a crazy amount of computer hardware over the years. I have installed Linux on desktops and laptops from Acer, Asus, Dell, HP, Toshiba, Sony, Lenovo, Apple, and a few I'm sure I'm forgetting. Occasionally, I might run into a weird driver issue with a Wi-Fi card or something, but the overwhelming majority of the time, it all just works. Really. So where did the computers come from? I'm going to make a few assumptions. First, you probably don't have piles of cash laying around to spend on brand new computers for your classroom. Brand new computers can be purchased pre-installed with Linux from a handful of manufacturers, but they tend to be pretty expensive. If you're looking to save money and get more tech in your classroom, you should get used computers and then install Linux on them yourself. There are a few things to keep in mind. First, this is 2023. Most Linux distros are designed to be used on multi-core 64-bit processors, so the computer you use will need to have one of those. Should it be Intel or AMD? Either will work, but the 64-bit part is the important part. Now, the good news is that covers almost all of the computers that have been manufactured since about 2010. Not too hard to find. The second thing to keep in mind is while Linux can run well on less memory than Windows can, I would recommend at least 4 gigabytes of RAM. Again, most computers in the last decade or so have that. Last thing, avoid computers that are obviously falling apart. Think gently used computers. Okay, so where can you get those used computers cheaply? Believe it or not, it's not that hard. And there are plenty of sources. In fact, sometimes you can get beyond cheap and into free. These are some of the ideas I've actually used. First is your school. Ask your school's IT department to see if there are any computers that have reached their official end of life and are being retired from use at the school. If there are some, and they don't have a set-in-stone plan for what to do with them, maybe some of them can be repurposed with Linux for your room. Second is ask. Ask. Ask friends, relatives, acquaintances, coworkers. Most people have computers, and every once in a while, people trade up. Do they still have the old one? Just ask for it. In my experience, people with old computers that find out you are refurbishing computers to help kids will give you computers. Ask. Second is kind of an extension, or third is kind of an extension from that. Local area businesses and nonprofits. Businesses and nonprofits often have a regular update cycle for retiring old computers and getting new ones. This is usually 3 years, with the old computers going off to a recycler. Contact businesses in your neck of the woods to see if some of their retired computers can go to you. Local electronics recyclers. There are likely to be some businesses or nonprofits around you that are in the computer recycling and refurbishing game. You can go to them to get computers. Please note that at these places, you will have to buy computers rather than getting stuff free, but great deals can be found. Here in Minnesota, we have Repowered, Minnesota Tech for Success, and of course, Free Geek Twin Cities. Free Geek deserves a little extra special recognition here because not only are they trying to close the digital divide and reduce e-waste, they're also trying to spread the use of free and open source software. All right. See what recyclers are available in your area. Oh, and just so you know, many areas have Free Geeks of their own. It's worth looking for. Ask, but bigger. In 2020, during the lockdowns of the COVID-19 pandemic, my school needed to get more devices quickly. I launched an online campaign to get donated computers. This appeal went out through lots of different channels: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and our local news media. I think we even wrote up like a press release for that. People who had computers gave them to us. People who did not, but still wanted to help, shared the campaign over their own social media, and the whole thing took on a life of its own. We received so many computers that we were able to put hundreds of computers in front of our students. And we saved our school over $150,000 over buying new devices. So, need computers? Put it out online. Your state's surplus exchange. All states use computers. All states retire computers. Many of those old computers end up at a state surplus department. Think of it as your state's garage sale. Depending on the rules for your state, individuals or qualified agencies like schools can go there and purchase the stuff your state no longer wants. I've been to the Minnesota Fleet and Surplus Services many times and have gotten my school incredible deals on computers. eBay. I don't use this one very often for getting used computers. I usually go to eBay for computer parts. but with a little looking, there are often bargains to be had. It's been said America's #1 wasted educational resource is used computers. I believe this. I also believe there is so much stuff out there no longer being used that with those computers and Linux, we could close the digital divide in this country. So need computers for your room? With donations or really cheap purchases, along with Linux and open source, you can make amazing things happen. Is there a source that I missed? Share it with the rest of us in the comments. Well, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. And remember, if Stu does Linux, so can you. Have a great day.